So now we're going to segue into another critical part of our product, the project management area. We sort of touched on it a little bit in the workflow side because they kind of interact with one another. But our next couple of speakers know a little something about this. We're really fortunate to have one of our clients come up from Norwegian Cruise Line, who's actually been doing a lot of this work, as well as Caitlin Giss. And I'll let Caitlin introduce herself in just a moment. But Leah works with Norwegian Cruise Line. She's been a customer of ours for a little time, works in the marketing services group, and has really worked hand in hand with Central Desktop to get this whole thing up and running within her organization and the marketing team. And so she's going to provide best practices really from a client's perspective, which I think is really, really important. And hopefully you can kind of connect with her afterwards. But will you first join me by welcoming Leah McKinney to the stage?
Hello. I'm not going to do a dance like everybody else, but as Mark said, I work for Norwegian Cruise Line, and I'm here today to talk about project management, best practice for smooth sailing. Yes, that is a pun. We're going to walk through a little bit about me and show you where we were with our former project management software, and then we're going to talk about where we are now and how we got there. So about me, I'm from Detroit originally, relocated to Miami a few years ago. I graduated from the University of Michigan. I worked for a creative agency, a digital agency, and now working for the corporate side of things. I was told to include some fun facts about me. I don't bike down mountains. I wasn't a former runner, and my dad wasn't a former famous athlete. But a fun fact about me is that I've been to 6 weddings this year, 3 of which I've been a part of. The first one being my own in March. It was a very casual outdoor wedding in Miami. The second was my brother's, where I was a bridesmaid in a very traditional Indian wedding. And the third one was a complete stranger, where I was the maid of honor in a very untraditional underwater wedding. And that's me. So if you want some more information on that, you can come find me after, and I can give you some more details. So who we are as a company, we're Norwegian Cruise Line, and we're headquartered in Miami. We have a sister company with Regent and Oceania. So we're a family of 3 brands. The company has been growing rapidly over the last few years. In 2013, we went public. In 2014, we joined forces with Regent and Oceania. And now we are the 3rd largest cruise operator in the world. We have 13 innovative ships and more on the way. Our 14th ship is coming to Miami in 40 days from today, the Norwegian Escape. That's the one pictured up there on the right. And then we have 3 more new builds scheduled coming spring 2017, spring 2018, and fall 2019. So we sail to over 230 destinations worldwide. Some of our more recently announced destinations include Asia, India, Australia, and New Zealand. And lastly, we're known for our freestyle cruising, where we offer our guests the freedom and flexibility to do what they want, when they want, while sailing on board our ships. So what do we do, and why do we need a great project management software? We work for the in-house agency, and we support all of our internal business departments. So we provide customers with marketing materials at every touch point, including their onboard experiences. So we work on anything from promotions, direct mail, brochures. We do the social, we do their onboard key cards, onboard collateral, all of our menu designs, logos, video production, you name it, we do it. So this year we're projected to complete 2,500 projects this year. So with a team of 20 supporting an organization of over 1,500, we really needed a project management software that could help us streamline that process and really make it the most efficient for us. So where we were. In 2008, we rolled out our former project management software, FileMaker Pro, as a simple data repository. It was a very manual system with no automation. So from 2009 to 2013, when comparing our department's job volume, we had grown rapidly. From 2009 to 2013, we were completing 500 more jobs annually. So that, coupled with the technological advancements, really made it a clean decision to start looking for a new system that would better support our growing needs. So in March of 2014, we began doing the research. In June, we sent out an RFP, and in October, we awarded the business to Central Desktop. So from November through February of 2014 into 2015, we worked with Central Desktop's implementation team. Here's my shout out to Paul, my implementation manager, and as well as my internal task force, where we really worked to define our system needs, our processes, the structure we really wanted to set up, and the design. We were also working with the technical team because our key requirement was to migrate all of our former project management data into Central Desktop, which included files and all of our hours and notes. So in March, early March, we began piloting the system. At the end of March, we rolled out the entire system to our marketing department. And we were finally done in April once we migrated all of our files over into Central Desktop from FileMaker Pro. So to give you an idea, that project was very large. We migrated 7,400 jobs, 35,000 files, and 43,000 hours. So here's just a quick screen grab of our old FileMaker Pro software. I know it's really hard to tell via screen grabs, kind of the functionality, but every field you're seeing is very manual. It pretty much looks like it's from the 80s. It's very antiquated. We were routing actual job jackets with our traffic manager, so once a project was done, it was printed off, put in the bin, and sat there until our traffic manager had the time to route it to the next step, not until she logged it into our system. And as I had mentioned, we were scheduled to complete 2,500 jobs this year, so our desks were very messy. And so it was really a culmination of all these efforts and factors that drove us to looking for the new system. So before we started the research, I sat down with our in-house marketing team, and we really defined our key requirements on what we wanted with our new software and what we were looking to get out of it. So we wanted a web-based solution that had email notifications, a live editing, because we were looking to get rid of our job jackets. We wanted customized user dashboards so you could log in and see your real-time projects that were assigned to you. We needed a time tracking feature, scheduling, large file storage, reporting and analytics was very critical for us, a friendly user interface so the training would be very easy, and the FileMaker Pro data migration. So we thought this was our wish list, and really once the research began, we saw that Central Desktop hit on all of these, plus more, so it was an easy decision to go with them. And with that, we have much cleaner desks, and I'm going to take you through some of our favorite features of our new system with a live demo. So here is once you go in to create your new workspace, and you're served up 6 different project templates. This is probably one of my favorite project management features that we've implemented with Central Desktop. Something we identified up front that was an issue with our former project management software is that we were previously using one brief for all project types. So with my task force, we identified, that this really wasn't the most efficient way to be operating, and that not every project required the same types of questions and informations to be answered. So we brainstormed and we came up with 6 unique project types, and then essentially 6 unique briefs for each of those projects. So where we netted out, we have a brand new project nope, not yet. A brand new project that requires no production, so brand new creative, but just no physical outputted elements. Dropping down, we have the new project with production, so brand new creative project, but this time we're actually producing like a direct mail or a brochure or a t-shirt or some sort of output. And then we get into the new project with a video production. And then on the right, it's kind of their sister project templates, but for the same fields, but with a refresh project. So just very minor creative updates, new imagery, a new headline, but you don't really need that full creative brief to go into. So just to show you kind of the difference that we're seeing now, our fields are a lot shorter, or are a lot more uniquely identified to that project type. So the account managers who are opening these projects are only getting served up the questions that are relevant to their project types. So scrolling down, the workspace name, options, the project dates, here we have a release date for production, which obviously is only appearing on a production template. Our project overview and project specs is these sections are the same across all 6 templates because they are fields that we report out on monthly, so we need to capture that across every single project type. And then we get into our production details. So our production details section is clearly for production-only projects. These are the projects that we need to know the budget, the quantity, our production resource, if an estimate's required, and other billing information. The project details then you scroll right into very seamlessly essentially the project brief. So here you're served up all those questions that account manager is filling in to really flesh out the project for the creative to understand what the deliverables are and what's really the main objective of the project. Delivery information is a production template specific field also. So where is that final produced piece being delivered? Is it coming to our offices? Is it shipping to one of our 13 ships? Is it shipping to a production studio? So that's where we put in that information. And then project approvers and job status are the same across every template, and I'll talk about that just after I show you the difference between that template, which is our longest project template, and our shortest project template. So the refresh project, no production. Same, you're not seeing any production date questions in your project dates. Our project overview, we've added a pickup job number field because we do have a unique project job number for all of our jobs, so the creative can quickly grab that number to pick up the old files for updating. Project specs are the same. And then here's our brief section. We only have 2 fields now, where before it was a page long, because essentially this is just quick updates for our team to quickly reference. And thank you to Lauren. I can now easily explain our job status, which triggers a workflow rule. So I know for me, when I'm opening jobs, I sometimes work on a brief for maybe a week while I'm gathering all the necessary information. So as long as our job status stays active and I can create my workspace, there will be no notification sent out. So I can work on that project workspace as long as I want. Not until I change my job status to active, then will my traffic manager get a notification that this job has been completed, all the files and information has been submitted, and it's ready to have resources allocated for creation. Sorry. Same with priority level. I know a lot of jobs are high priority, but we try and use this field sparingly for only the highest of high priority jobs. But when that field is selected, our traffic managers are also notified that a high priority project was just submitted, so they should probably focus on that first and foremost. Jumping into our workspace landing page, we chose a very simple setup, just showing the high-level tasks, which that's not something I touched on. So each of our 6 templates, we have assigned a custom task list for each of those templates with the subsequent roles filled in for the applicable fields. I know Caitlin's going to talk a little bit more about roles, so I won't get too much into that right now. So yeah, keeping it very simple. The recent activity on the right is great. You can jump in and see the most recent things that have taken place on this workspace. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on is our reporting. As I had briefly mentioned in the requirements that we were looking for, we really needed a robust reporting tool. So, I think it's this one, yeah. So this one, I've set up basically a status report for myself. It's pulling in all of my projects that I've opened and all the applicable information I need that I can pull anytime I'm going into a status meeting with my boss or any of my business owners. I can quickly download this and have the information about the job status right there, ready to go. So this is a very helpful report I have saved and I reference often. Another one, we do monthly reporting for the organization just to share out, what marketing's outputting and what's causing and what type of work we're doing. So this is the one I pull for hours, just to get an idea. So our creative team logs hours based on all their tasks. So here is a summation of all of the hours entered July 1st, 2013 through July 31st. So for the month of July, you can see it's broken out by workspace. And then if you collapse hours, it will get, or that bottom dark gray line gives you the total of hours per workspace just for that month. So the great thing about Central Desktop is though you can change your filters and kind of splice and dice the data in any way you see. We do export this and look at it in Excel to see trends. So it's really easy to see if you're seeing a high trending hours month, you can look at your data here and see kind of what that job was that was driving up your hours for that month. So this is a really helpful tool. Like I said, we pull this monthly and we share with our senior leadership. We definitely use this data. And in the past, if work volume's been high, we pulled the data, gathered the insights, and we have been approved for additional headcount to bring in a freelancer or bring in a full-time person. So this has been a really great tool, and Central Desktop is definitely giving us more insights into the data once we've finally figured out how to use all the fun filtering and features it offers. So I think that was the last I was going to show you on the demo. I was just going to leave us here with kind of how we got here and some tips on why I think our implementation went so smoothly. The first thing I would recommend is to engage a task force up front. Really get to know, ask a few people that are heavy users, or maybe those who are most against change, to see how they're using the system, what they want in their new system, and what they're not getting in their current system. So we really identified those, I mean, even before I think the RFP went out. So we knew how we wanted to set the system up before we even got into the discussions with Central Desktop. That led us into our clear vision. So have a clear vision with how you want your system to work and be set up. You know, talk about your current process and see how you want your process to improve and where it can improve, because you can work with Central Desktop to really talk about what you're looking for and what your vision is, and they'll work together to help you achieve that. But with that, you know, problem solving is key. With some of your visions, not necessarily will come to life, but working together and, you know, identifying what really your business need is and figuring out how you can achieve that need. Another way will work. I know that we ran into a few snags, and I think the outcome and the solution we found that we're using today is actually better than what we envisioned up front. So being flexible is also a recommendation I have. Fourth is pilot testing. This was huge. We started implementing in November, and we were ready, in my mind, to roll it out to the entire marketing team in March, right before my wedding. Paul told me that was not a good idea, and that we did pilot testing where this was key. I mean, we thought we had the system set up to work flawlessly, but once you're in it and using it, that's when we really identified the issues and some of the processes that we hadn't thought about or set up, and some fields that were missing from our briefs. And this time, it was a 3-week process where we really identified the issues, resolved them, so when we rolled it out to the entire marketing department, it went very flawlessly, in my opinion. And lastly is just have enthusiasm. The system's as good as what you put in, so get your team excited. I know I've probably given some form of this presentation to my team back at Miami a handful of times just to show them what was coming and get them excited, so that when it rolled out, it wasn't a surprise. They were kind of excited for it, and then once they started using it, they saw it come to life. So that's what I have for you. Any questions?
This is maybe a little detailed, so apologies. But you do 2,500 projects a year, approximately, and you have it set up so that every one of those generates a workspace.
Yes.
Do you have the workspaces organized at any higher level, like through accounts or something like that, or are they just all loose?
Yes, we have them bucketed into accounts, and then each project is assigned a unique project number too, so we can reference it that way.
Okay, so how long have you been, because Account View is relatively new, and we've gone back and forth as to whether we want projects to generate workspaces so that each project is a workspace. And I don't know if you have like ideas on the pros and cons of that, or obviously it's been working for you.
A project as a workspace?
Yeah, every project generating a workspace.
Yeah, I mean, for how we operate, I think every project is helpful to have its own workspace since each project has a unique brief, at least how we operate. So that's been helpful. I know we initially talked about doing campaigns in one workspace and then the milestones within, but we didn't think that would work for our process because we wanted that unique project workspace for each project.
To go off that, how many do you all have active in the system at one time? Because I can see how 2,500 is a lot.
Yeah, actually, I forgot a statistic just to give you all an idea of how well the team has adopted it. We've already opened over 1,200 jobs since March in the system, and I would say right now we have probably about 700 active jobs.
So my question is kind of along the same lines. If you have so many workspaces, projects, whatever you want to call them, how are you managing that? So do you have workflow rules as soon as something is closed? Do you have a workflow rule that then archives that and takes it away so they don't see that anymore? Or what do you do?
Yes, we have so the job status field, the account manager is making it active. Once the traffic manager reviews the brief and assigns the resources, they change it to open. And then once the job is complete and approved, the account manager then changes the job status to closed, which triggers a workflow rule to our traffic manager to archive that job. And they archive it maybe once a week. They're not constantly stopping everything and archiving.
2 questions. How many employees do you have? And also, how many of them are NCL employees? And do you have outside users using Central Desktop also?
So how many do we have using Central Desktop? I think we have about 50 users of Central Desktop, but all internal because we work at Norwegian Cruise Line in our internal agency. So we're only sharing it out with our internal corporation. So, do we do our print production? Yeah, so we have 2 production managers in-house who handle all of our print production activities. Okay. Caitlin, take it away.